Welcome to my program. What do you do? Helping people stay out of prison once released. Now, I have a couple summaries here written by some inmates that's incarcerated in prison. After I read the summary, there'll be 5 questions which they would like the answers to. To get a better understanding of this program, you should watch my pilot video. However, I forgot to put pilot on there, but it's the one that's about 43 minutes long, and all the other videos, they're numbered E2, E3, and so on. Okay, let's get started here. All right, this letter here is from Ken Davis. He's a 50-year-old black male. He's a lifer due to 3 strikes. He's been in prison 24 years. He's a Christian, and he's at Salinas Valley Prison. He writes, "My parents truly did everything that was right, okay, and disciplinary for me. I would say in retrospect, I have been overly spoiled. However, they got it right. Throughout my formative years in school, my parents was very hard-working people that didn't have any time to verify or help me about my homework. Being the last born of my parents, my other siblings kind of got the short end of the stick because of my parents' hard-working values and wealth increase. I didn't run into any black peers or schoolmates until junior high school. I played a lot of athletic sports growing up, like Pop Warner football, so I always intermingled with other black kids in that way. I experienced racism growing up like most children. When you or other young children notice different skin complexions, hair and eye color, and other manners of speech, not to mention the toys you don't own. High school was totally opposite. I was not ready or sexually disciplined for high school. I wanted to smoke weed, drink beer, and chase young girls around. In the 10th grade, I dug myself such a big hole that I could not recover or graduate by the 12th grade. However, my 11th grade year of school, I was picking up the pieces, working on my driver's license, which I got. I played on a varsity football team, and I got a summer job to purchase a car. My 12th grade year was memorable because I played high school football, attended all my classes, and developed more teenage relationships with girls. Okay, that was brief, but that's what he wrote. Okay, now the questions he would like ask: can I blame someone for choosing the shortcut way of life? Okay, number 2, was I not understood as a child, or did race play a factor in my delinquency? Okay, during my early school years and middle school years, my parents never talked to my school teachers. Was this a factor, good or bad? Was I headed to more drugs and alcohol as an adult due to my teenage exposure? Okay. Did my hardworking parents, and religious belief values finally turned me into a mature person. Okay, he was kind of brief in his summary. He didn't go into it. I guess he's testing the waters. But still, the main thing is the question. So if you have any advice to give him, his name is Ken Davis. His number is T78448. Salinas Valley State Prison, P.O. Box 1050, Soledad, California 93960, 1050. So when you address the letter, it looks something like this. All right. Now this next one is a little different because I guess when he read my summary, he decided to write me and give me some advice of what he does in them situations. Like I said, I still need help. So, I'm always open to advice. So this is what he wrote. Okay. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, on the south side. My dad was a cab and bus driver. My mother was a registered nurse. When I turned 4 years old, my mother left and my dad, I said, what do you got there? When I turned 4 years old, my mother left my dad and moved herself and her 5 kids to Oakland, California. By the age of 14, I was hooked up in the dope game in Oakland. I ran with the 69th Street mob, the Village. I shot a cop at the age of 16 and did close to 10 years in the California Youth Authorities. I was released at the age of 25 years old. In 2001, I was arrested for a crime that I am now completely innocent for. They charged me with possession of sales of a $20 rock of alleged cocaine. So that's how he got his 3 strikes. And for that little bit of cocaine, he's been in prison 24 years. Believe me when I tell you, I am completely innocent. That's another tale within itself, Brother Brown. Anyhow, allow me to answer the 5 questions that you wrote to me about. So that's what I was saying. That's why this is kind of different. Okay. Like my question is, what do you do when somebody calls you a racial name? Okay. He says he gets agitated and frustrated, angry. The old me from the streets would kick that ass fast. The new Kareem, problem solver, mindful that all kind of bad triggers come up, so I completely ignore them. The name calling, it's just words. You got to be the bigger person, the bigger black man, a human being, and just walk away. And trust me, it will take a lot, but it can be done. Yeah, that's good advice. That's probably true right here, but in prison, that would take, I mean, he's really have done a lot of work if that's how he does it in prison. Okay. What do you do to handle your feelings when somebody calls you a racial name or you hear somebody else being called a racial name? The other day, a white inmate called me a nigger in front of everybody. All eyes were on me to see what would I do. Hearing the N-word coming out of the white guy's mouth hurt. I immediately thought about my loved ones, my family. I diverted my anger and told myself to walk away. At first, my feet wouldn't move, but being mindful that he only called me that word to control me, to anger me, to hurt me. Knowing this helped soften these feelings above. So I had to divert and put my family first. Now that's good advice there. You know, when somebody calls you a name instead of, especially with a record like mine, instead of beating them down and do whatever, think about others. Think about your friends, your family, your grandkids. Okay, that's good. Okay. What do you do when you know most other people's around you are racist, like at work? You remember on my pilot, that's the one that I was telling people to write me so I know what to do. Like I say, I ain't never really had a job. Okay, he says you ignore them. You let them be who they are, and you just do you. Well, yeah. Just ignore them. Just do me. Do you agree with that? Okay. What do you do to control your temper after you have already gotten extremely angry? Okay, he said, I use my coping skills. That's what all that's about. So he's doing the work. That's evident. He is doing the work to get out of prison. He says he'll read a little while, maybe do a little exercise, do some self-talking or breathing exercises. All this works. It just takes a minute for me to calm down. I just use my tools. Yes, he's doing the work. He is most definitely doing the work. You know, there's a lot of inmates out there, once they discover themselves, they are really, really good people. Okay, what do you do to handle a lot of free time when you're bored other than doing a hobby or watching TV? Okay, he says you can relax, talk to care providers about your life. That's what he does there. He even talks to some of the officers about how things are going out there. He says it's effective. So basically, he's telling me, you know, to keep in touch, because they got groups out here. They got GRIP is out here, ARC is out here, so CGA is out here. So I can call and talk to them and see what they're doing in the community. Yeah, that's pretty good. I was planning on getting in contact with them to tell them about this program. but I'm just now getting it off the ground. So, yeah, he has some good advice up in there. Good advice. And if you want to add anything, because this is what he does, if you want to add anything to them questions that he can do that will also help, his name is Kareem Howe, P79828, California State Prison, Corcoran, P.O. Box 8800, Corcoran, California, 93212. And this is how you address it. Well, them was kind of short letters, but like I say, it's going to take time for the word to get around the prison before they truly open up to see this is not no scam. I'm not up to nothing. I'm seriously trying to help. And the thing with tools, I mean, it is very important because, like I said, if you don't know why you did what you did, the chances are when the same situation come up, you're gonna do the same thing. Yes. Now, in my case, I would tell you how I ended up doing 31 years behind not having no tools or not knowing myself. I was at Jamestown prison. Hated it. Dangerous. You know how they got you? They got like 75 dorms on the yard, and they just put you on the dorm, and the police is at each corner. You know, way over here, way over there. So if something happened in the dorm and you're like, by the time they get there, it's over. I done seen some horrible things. But I say, that's it. I ain't coming back to prison no more. That's it. So I get out and I'm trying to do the right thing. I get in this program, Concertia, about construction, and so happens that I get a job at with the union as apprentice brick mason. And ironically, we're building the police substation when I started. But anyway, when you're apprentice, you still have to go to school. So, you know, I work on the job, and then I think it's twice a week, we had to go to school, do a little book work and do some hands-on. And it was the exact same scenario as my elementary school years. I was the only black in the class. I mean, nowadays, even today, you walk around construction sites, you really don't see too many black people. But 30 years ago, you really didn't see no black people. So I got an opportunity to slide my foot in the door. So I'm in the class and I'm getting along with all my white co-workers, and we're laughing and doing this, and they're showing me things, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna make it this time. You know what I mean? I'm making $13.32 an hour, and that was just 40% of the journeyman's pay. So I really thought I was gonna make it. So one day, the job that I was working at, they wanted to go non-union. But I'm in the union, so the union was going, no, we're going to strike this. So they called a strike. So one day I was at school, and the head dude called me up in there, and he said, Mr. Brown, yeah, I know you heard, we're finna go on strike, and we're going to be just doing a lot of picketing. So, you just kick back at the house and draw unemployment. I said, unemployment? He said, yeah, they'll pay you for not working. And all of a sudden, what? So when I left out of his office, I was in a good mood. But as soon as I went back in the classroom, it was quiet. And I looked around, and people was looking down and I'm thinking, why did nobody else go get called up in there? And nobody asked, what did he want? Every time somebody get called in the office, there's always some type of inquiry. But nobody said anything to me. So now, having them thinking distortions, first thing that come to my mind, oh, they don't want me on the strike line because I'm black. Oh, I'm going to ruin their image. Now, I already made up my mind not to go back to prison. I used to cover my feelings up. I go do something extreme, rob something to get my blood pumping. But I had vowed not to go back to prison. But that pain was still there, and I really didn't know where the pain was coming from. So, like I said before, anger is a secondary emotion. You're mad up here and there's something underneath. Well, at that time, I didn't know what was underneath. So you're either going to do some criminal behavior or you're going to medicate. And that's what I did. I started medicating. I started smoking crack cocaine. Right? And once I got addicted to that, it was all bad. It was all bad. Because I'm telling you, with crack cocaine, once you get addicted to that stuff, whatever you do best, that's what you're going to do to get it. If you're a criminal, you're going to do criminal activity. If you're not really a criminal, you're going to be taking stuff from your mother, stealing from your cousins and all that. And if you don't do that, you're going to prostitute your body. But you're going to get that crack cocaine. So I came addicted. That little money I had saved up went. I needed a hit. John Dillinger came out. So that is how I ended up in prison, by not having tools. And then when I get there, when I go to board, the board see the problem. The board said, Mr. Brown, now we see you have 24 counts of armed robbery and 3 kidnaps. What made you do all that? I was addicted to crack cocaine. I had like a $300 or $500 a day habit, and I just needed the money. Oh, okay. But bam! bam, denied. Because that is not the reason. That ain't the reason why I went to penitentiary. The reason is I had unresolved issues. So if I could have understood about the racism and had tools like Q-tip and anger is a secondary emotion, I would have took another course. Therefore, I would have never used drugs or anything. The drugs was just aftermath. So once you're able to understand your thinking dysfunctions, you have a better chance at life. But yeah, by not having tools, that's what happened. So they're working on it. So once you know what your problem is, you will have a better chance at life. And y'all can help. I mean, some of these questions may seem trivial, but they're asking for your help. Okay, well, that's all I have for now. And hopefully I have a few more letters next week. But even if I don't, believe me, in time, they're coming. So just keep an eye out. See you later.